What's good, y'all? It is Will here. Today I want to talk about Nofap, a practice that I have been working on over the last couple months, and I made it to day 75. Now, I prefer not to count that often. I'm actually a little bit past that point, but at the same time, there is a number that is in the back of my head. But it's more so about the feelings than it is the number, and that's the thing that I've realized over time with Nofap, in practicing it and failing and actually succeeding and getting to a certain point. Sometimes you can get caught up with where you're at in the process, and you almost lose sight of the actual benefits that are taking place, or if there are any benefits, because to be honest, there can be a lot of misconceptions regarding the practice, and I think it's important to understand that you're not going to just, your whole life isn't just going to be changed immediately just for Nofap. It's important to use that as the foundation. And what I mean by that is, harness that energy that you're saving up, that sexual energy that you're saving up, and put it into other works, other creative passions, other, working out, like exercise routines, things of that nature. And, I've had a real battle throughout most of my life, or, well, most of my last 5 years or so with lust. And it's more so been like, okay, how do I control these feelings? How do I understand these feelings? How do I avoid these feelings from getting the best of me, to where I'm not, watching porn multiple times a day, to where I'm not viewing women as literal objects. And that's been something I've really struggled with. My sex life has been very rough, I would say. And there's a lot of other worse facets of life that I could have, and I'm grateful to have the life I do, but we all have some type of vice. We all have some type of struggle that we are going through. Everybody is facing something, and for me, I would say it's been with my sex life, and that's prevented me from even really wanting to speak to women, because it's like, okay, well, I got to figure out my intentions. Is it just sex that I want? Is it a reliable connection? I've delved pretty deep into that porn addiction, to the point where I've even had sexuality questioning at times. And that's, because I've essentially correlated my porn consumption with my sexuality, with my sexual desires. But in reality, all that is a dopamine rush that you're seeking. You're seeking something even more taboo and more out there every time you watch. So that's why with porn, it pains me to say, but I was slowly getting to a point where I was like, oh man, for some reason I've watched so much that this doesn't, this doesn't turn me on anymore. And so I went into, I tried a couple of times watching gay porn and things like that. And that's what I'm saying, led me to questioning my sexuality. But in all reality, I do know that rhymed. I do know that I am into women for sure. It's just that I've had to kind of put those desires, those compulsions to watch porn to the side, and understand that sex and love is a lot more than just lust. I've had to really learn what intimacy is. And it is through this practice. I did a couple of other journeys on Nofap as well, but through this practice, my intention has been to completely get over this porn addiction and get to a point where I am, viewing women more so as my equal, and as someone that I can love, and someone that I can talk to, and something that far exceeds sex. But also at the same time, obviously, it's a part of it. But I don't want to just go up to people and literally be talking to them or looking at them from the perspective of, oh, I just want to literally have sex. I want to get to know you. I want to explore, what's going on in your mind, and kind of use my perspective to branch off of that. And yeah, I've said a lot in this 4-minute span, but it's definitely something that I've been focused on, because my sex life is like I said, it's kind of scary at times, like some of these desires, some of these compulsions, it is literally your deepest nature, rooted in your deepest nature. So it's difficult to, fully surmount that, to completely overcome that, because you can just get this compulsion, and you almost lose complete control. And that's where like afterwards that clarity kicks in, right? For a lot of men, I would say that clarity kicks in, but women as well. and you're just questioning your decisions, you're questioning your life, you know, you're analyzing your entire life path and where you're going, and if you're on the right path, and why you did that, why you do these things. And I think obviously sex is not a bad thing, but it should be more so practiced in the form of love, in my opinion. And you know, I think people do give hookup culture a bit of a hard rap sometimes, but at the same time I understand it, because that shouldn't necessarily be celebrated. But at the same time, I would say that it's not a bad idea. It's not like horrible to explore through hookup culture, but I think it's something you have to also control, something you can't, you know, indulge in very often. And I think it's, like I said, it's best to just explore. Okay, what am I into? Like, what can I try with this person or whatever? But after a while, you sort of realize, like, man, I really kind of want, or I desire that deep, sort of divine connection with someone that's everlasting, you know, that's beautiful, and something that far exceeds sex, but something that makes the sex that much greater, right? And that's where I think sex is beautiful. But I have never been in a relationship, and I honestly just think that during this time of my life, it's better to sort of remain celibate and use that energy into creative passions and into working out. Like I said, you know, writing is my greatest hobby, greatest passion of all. It's led me to writing 2 books, and now I'm writing the third. And also, I've been hitting the gym lately, working out. And it's obviously, there's still a lot I can work on. I think my sleep schedule is the one thing I'm trying to work on. You know, I get up at like 10:30. Right? I've been getting up then lately, and I go to sleep kind of late, so I could definitely work on that. There's obviously a bunch of other things I could work on as well. I don't really know how to cook, but I'm not striving for perfection. You know, it's just trying to work on these things in your life, and take care of yourself. You know, taking care of yourself is essential, and I think that's what's really helped is with that, with repressing, or not repressing per se, but kind of you know, trying to gain a little bit of control over my sexual desires, and also rid of that porn addiction pretty much entirely, but also alter my view and perspective on people. Like I said, like not trying to view them as objects, and really trying to view them as an equal, as someone who has their own light, their own story, their own perspective that is extremely valuable. And that's kind of what that's you know, what my goal is, to meet people, to have like a real deep connection, whether it's just friends. Honestly, like I'm cool with that too. I'm from a small town, and I haven't really had like a platonic friendship with a woman either in recent memory. So, you know, there are times where you can feel alone. I've been in solitude, I'm not exaggerating, like 90% of the time over the last 2 years or so. And it's been great, you know, it's been great, but I don't think it's permanent. I think it's definitely temporary. Like one day, you know, I'm going to have more connections that I'm relying on more frequently. You know, my intention is to fall in love with a woman someday. That's not my goal, because I'm perfectly capable by myself. But I do think this sort of loner phase of my life, I may always be a bit of a loner, but at the same time, I do think that connections are important in each of our lives. Relationships are essential. And, you know, human contact and conversation and engagement is vital. And that's really what I'm trying to learn, socially, and like I said, sexually wise, and just trying not to let this feelings of lust get the better of me. And they might sometimes, but you know, I have to have at least a level of control to be able to say no. And that's basically the purpose of this NoFap journey today. I believe it's day 76 of it, so definitely going strong. But I don't know. I mean, it's, again, like I said, you need an intention with it. So if you're just going into it and saying, oh, I'm just going to do this and just gain these superpowers and just level up and be this spiritual god, like, I hate to break it to you, but it's not going to work like that. You know, you can use it as the foundation. You don't have to have a specific intent. Like if you haven't dealt with a porn addiction, or whatever the case may be, you don't have to have a specific intent, but at the same time, it's important to use that to your advantage. Use that energy that's building up and put it into something greater. But if you do have an intent, I would advise it's something along the lines of socially, like if it's similar to mine, with the porn addiction. Maybe try and, build up by the workout routine, trying to, get the body you would like, the ideal body, and things of that nature. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely something that I would advise everyone to at least give a shot at one point or another. And I'm not saying that you have to go for 70 days. I mean, truth be told, it's difficult on the first few days. Like the first probably 10 days were the most challenging, and are the most challenging for a lot of people. And after about like 2 weeks or so, that's when the compulsion of it, the just sudden like feeling and craving to watch porn or whatever the case might be, kind of dwindles a little bit, and it can become a lot I don't want to say easier, but less frequent that those feelings come about. So yeah, I would advise people to have an intent. I would encourage people to at least give it a try at one point or another, but wherever you are, don't feel bad about those lustful desires. Just try and understand them a little bit more. Try and have a level of control over it, and be at peace with it, to be honest, because it's there. It's not going to die, You have to accept that as a part of your nature. But if you made it to this point in the video, thank you so much for watching. I'd love to hear what you guys think down in the comments about, your journey with it. But yeah, like I said, feel free to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and we'll sign it out.